Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my amazing co-host, Jonathan. How you doing tonight, Jonathan?
Good. How are you?
Actually, today's been really a very busy day. So I've been busy, but I've been good. So
Okay.
busy but good. How are you?
Not
How's your day?
busy, not
No.
busy, but
Oh,
good, good.
well, how's your game coming along? You're the finalist, no?
On another, yeah, it's I've kind of, it's going well, and I've just kind of stepped away from the current challenge just to let other people take it over for me for a second. But yeah,
Well, that's good to hear. Now, if this is your first time here in Reality Realness, well, then welcome. Please do us all a favor and subscribe so we can just continue to build with a group of people that love talking about reality TV all day, every day, which is really fun. I can't remember. You don't watch the Bachelor whole franchise, correct?
I do not. No, I need
Uh,
that kind of element of like competition where they eliminate people in a more kind of competitive
It
game
gets kind of
element.
competitive. The only reason why I ask is I was wondering if you're going to be watching Bachelor in Paradise Canada. So that starts soon, and I'm just was
But
curious.
Paradise Hotel, I used to watch.
Obsies. I remember I loved Tony when she Yahtzee. I just remember
Paradise
that line
Hotel,
that she said.
when they like original, is this the original season or the second season of it or whatever? When Charla, I think, was on it, and then she kind of teamed up. She was like an outcast, and she teamed up with like maybe his name was Dave, and then they kind of developed their own foursome that were outcasts. I just loved, and then they got really strategic with it. So back in the
Oh,
day, back in the
I
day.
watched it, and I'm remembering these names a little bit. I would do a rewatch of that with you if you wanted, if we ever
It
have
was
some
so
downtime.
good, so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. But today we're talking about Big Brother US season 23, episode 30. Wow, we have 2 weeks left until this season is over. What were your overall thoughts of the episode?
The episode itself was, I'm not a big fan of the veto competition. I feel like that's something they need to like, get rid of.
Why?
But are we that excited about comic books and I mean, it's the, it's the same strategy that's applied. It really is. It's just kind of like systematically going through the, images, remembering which ones, and then seeing what their differences are. And I've seen it so many times. I just don't find it exhilarating or
Mm,
all that exciting to me. And yeah, I just think the only like look at the balance beams from several weeks ago when Sarah Beth won HOH, and like someone was so like it was a new challenge. It was done a different way. It was exciting because people were really close, and they just need more of that for me. This comic book thing I don't get. I don't understand why we're holding on to it. I just don't think it's um infused in Big Brother world enough for me that I need to hold on to it. So I don't love it.
I think that they like the creating these the comic books. Like if I were going on Big Brother, at Big Brother US, I would definitely want to see what my comic was. That would be, I would think, pretty fun and exciting. But I agree with you that this challenge, it's the strong, like athletic guy is most likely going to win it. You know what I mean? Most likely, or the light woman that has a good memory. And so it's kind of like I wasn't fully surprised. Maybe I was surprised by who came in second, but I wasn't fully surprised by who came in first. And even before the competition, I was like, that I'd be rooting for Tiffany and Hannah to win, or Azza, any of the women. And I felt, I'm like, well, it's BB Comics, Veto, typical Veto. I think that they have the least likely chances of winning against like Xavier and Kylan. So I was just a little bit disappointed knowing that the outcome will most likely not be favorable to what I want.
I agree. And I do feel like when this challenge happens, every time I'm always let down by who's winning it,
Yeah, you're like,
or it comes at a time where its strengths plays to those who are kind of dominant anyway. So I just think it's like ill placed and just all of the above. I mean, They could have comic books in another way. They could have like, whatever. It's not OTEV. It's not,
I think
Zinbot.
they're trying to make it like an OTEV
And,
type thing, though.
and I'm trying to not. I'm trying to say dump it.
Hi, Bean. Yes, let's do this. Let's do this. Work our way through this episode. And, because I'm a Tiffany fan, I'm just kind of like, let's just let Thursday come already. Just send her out the door. Like, I'm just bored with pretending like she has a shot at staying. You know what I mean? Like, even what they're saying in the diary room, it's like, that's not really what they're saying in the house to each other. Like, it's a bit of an eye roll. But so Tiffany, Colin doesn't trust Tiffany, and he doesn't trust her from whatever, not just from that competition that she should have thrown, but even, okay, I have a question about that, because I know that you said that she was supposed to throw the competition and then that it was a bad move on her part to not have thrown it. Now, you are somebody that I know that would never throw a competition. So how would you deal with being in the position that Tiffany was in?
I think I have thrown competitions, and I think once you know everything's in place and it's set and you're good to go and you feel confident in that and it's with someone that you trust, then you can be like, okay, here you go. But I would definitely put myself in the last possible position of someone who, like if it screws up, I can kind of take it over and still win and protect myself. But yeah, I wouldn't have. I would let it go and lose competitions if I needed to. I mean, I don't mean like week after week to hide, how well or not well or whatever I am in competitions. I just mean if it's part of a bigger plan, then I would absolutely.
What if it was a plan that wasn't your plan and that you didn't particularly agree with the plan?
The thing is, I'd probably make sure that my plans are the ones that are
okay,
so I think I would have a better handle on that. So I don't know that I would have, yeah, it really depends. I mean, it depends on the situation and whatnot. But speaking of Tiffany and Kylan, though, hold on. You can maybe give me the heads up. I heard some stuff online that they like.
Yeah, it's true.
Hooking up.
Yeah.
And some people are like, it's just cuddling, but it's this. How do you feel about all that?
I mean, I heard it's more, or like it seems like it's a little bit more. I don't know if they've actually had sex, but definitely handsy stuff going on, grinding kind of stuff going on for sure. There's a lot of canoodling, and it in so much as what I've taken it as, and I'm sorry if this people like Kylan fans don't like me saying this, but literally as soon as she kind of gave up the goods, he lost respect for her. It was basically the next day that he started saying like, oh, I don't think her is a strong competitor. Oh, I don't respect her. Oh, I don't respect her game. As soon as they were cuddling and canoodling. So from my perspective, it seems as though he doesn't necessarily have respect for women, especially if in like these kind of sexual situations, it diminishes their his how he feels about them, because he considered Tiffany to be a worthy opponent, kind of like how he considers Xavier to be a worthy opponent. And as soon as they started making out, he doesn't respect her.
Him and Xavier, yes, they're making out. Yeah. No, joking. So I'm of two minds with that. I think, I guess I like when people can completely separate the emotional or whatever versus gameplay. So I can commend him on that. But I just think that I don't really know what happened. I didn't see it or anything like that. But I also just think he creeps me out a little bit just in general, just the pacing of how he talks. And it's just a little kind of like, there seems some like emotional disconnect with what he's saying and how he says it. I'm just surprised that's not talked about a little bit more and people aren't a little bit more weirded out about it.
No, they are. They're completely anti Kylan, anti Xavier. They at this point they think both, like all the three men right now. So it's kind of what the narrative for most, I would say for the most part.
I just mean even like from the beginning though with Kylan, just because I said from day one when he like talks to people one-on-one and things like that, he just weirds me out a bit. So I don't even know why Tiffany would do anything with him, because it was anyway. But I mean, if he's able to separate his game from anything else
I don't
personal.
think that that's what he's doing, because I think that he doesn't respect women. I think that that's just kind of, and when a woman like offers up any sexual whatever, he loses respect for him. And if he was in another house, he would have probably ghosted her. You know what I mean? Like in the real world, that's probably what he would do. So yeah, I'm not, especially since that happened, I was even more so not a fan of him, and I can't even watch him on the feeds anymore. Like I'm just like tuned out. Hi, Anna. Thank you for being here. So Anna could not watch today. Too sad. Relying on both of you today for summaries. Yes, there was a slight kerfuffle on Twitter regarding the comics being bad. The comics were horrendous. I'll see. I did pull them up somewhere. I'll see if I can pull them up to show you them. They were bad. Very bad. Anna says, yes, Fingergate in the head of household when Tiffany was in power. So that is what is, has been going on. And I think that, I don't think that Tiffany was doing it for gameplay. I think that she genuinely likes Kyland in that way. I mean, living in a house for 2 months with somebody who is attractive, and they were on a team together, and they were working really closely together at one point, and she got jealous when Sarah Beth of it all kind of stepped in and took a lot of his attention. And so I think that there was something comforting that she liked about him, and when they were working well together. And so I think she probably just let that get the best of her, and cuddling in the head of household room, and you get a little horny, whatever. And I don't think that she was using it as a play, but I think that she's also very shocked that he doesn't even care enough about her as somebody that he's made out with to want to keep her in the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of icky. I think it's icky. Ouch. So are you saying that Kyle is misogynistic? I feel like most of the men, from what I've been seeing, have these tendencies. Absolutely. They don't show that many on the actual show, but just the fact that Kyland, they kind of alluded to it a little bit in this episode, Jonathan, but Kyland only wants to go to the end with somebody that he respects game-wise. And so that is why he's taking Xavier to the end, because he wants to lose to him. Like if he is to lose to him, he'd be losing with honor, and then he would be asked back in a future season, like the Cody and Derek situation.
That's what he said. Okay. Question: isn't his sexuality, like, isn't he pansexual?
Pan. I think he's pan. Yeah.
You think he's into Xavier at all?
I think he's obsessed with Xavier. I think that he puts Xavier on a pedestal. I think that there's something about Xavier that he wants to be like and wants to be around. Like, I do think that he has like some sort of admiration towards him. I don't know if I don't really get a sexual vibe from Kyland, so I don't know in that regard. But I do think that he idolizes him.
Interesting. Yeah, he's quite the study of a person, I would think. Like, he fascinates me in the sense of that I'm just like, you're just so interesting, but like, just, yeah, I mean, who knows? I haven't seen what you've seen, but I've heard all of them, what's going on and whatnot. But I just think there's like more to it. Like, I just want to find out more about these people and like
I think it's just really shitty to like be making out with somebody when they're head of household. It's just, I don't know, like, do what you want to do, but it's just,
and it's funny because when they were talking about who's more likely to win HOH next week, they were saying like Hannah. And it's like, yeah, and I know they were saying that with the idea that Tiffany's gone kind of a situation, but I agree. I think Hannah would be more likely. So why wouldn't you be targeting Hannah over Tiffany? I know you wouldn't want Tiffany getting near the end, but I think she's much more beatable. So I didn't understand that whole element of them really going after Tiffany.
So the whole element is because Xavier wants to punish Tiffany for that mistake in the head of household competition. He said that, literally said that. He's like, I would keep her, but she really needs to learn her lesson for that mistake. So
And I guess it's supported with Derek.
Exactly.
Who just
Derek F
always
can't
wants her. Yeah.
exactly. And Kyland wants to also punish her for the fact that he's like, you didn't trust me. You didn't trust me. Like, I can't remember when this happened. She might have questioned something that he did, and you didn't trust me. And so, like, since you didn't trust me, like, I can't trust you anymore. And it's like, she wasn't going to take him out. Like, she really was going to be taking him to the end because she thinks that she can beat him.
Right.
And her ideal final three was being her, Chada, and Kylan. Like, that's what she was going to be working to do. And Kylan's like, yeah, do you know what? I want to go up against the best and lose, then get to the end and potentially win.
I still hope Hannah's here and that Hannah can win HOH and put two guys up together. And it's
but
not in
now what
defense
she's
of like,
considering doing, Hannah, and like, I'm just like, she can't really be thinking this. She's considering putting up Xavier and Big D so she can honor the deal to a certain extent that she made with Kyland, that she wasn't going to put him up on the block. And then what happens if Kylan wins the veto and takes down Xavier, which he would do? Then she would have to put up Azza, and they would vote Azza out, and she would still have both of them in the game. This is what she's considering. She's not even thinking that through. And I'm like, you have to put up those two damn guys. I don't care about your damn deal.
And because it's a double, it doesn't give you a lot of time to really think through it. So anything crazy can happen. I would like to think that she, like, sitting there thinking through it, she'd be like, no, I can't do this. But I mean, yeah, anything crazy could happen on the double. So we'll see.
Like, that's like would be the dumbest move. And one thing that she said about this move, and she's like, oh, like it might be too soon to make such a big move. I'm like, how sooner? Like, when's the right time? If this isn't the right time for you to put up Xavier and Kylan, you don't have any more time.
I just don't want to see three guys at the end again, you know? That's
what's going to probably happen, to be honest. It is what's most likely going to happen. Most likely, Hannah will be following out Tiffany in this double. And then right after, Azza doesn't win anything. And so she most likely will be the next casualty. And then the final three will be those three guys. Kyland and Xavier most likely will sit at the final two. And Xavier will most likely win the game. That's like, unless Hannah can pull it out. But those chances are slim pickings. Oh, Sophie, missed you too. So Anna says, had a new not to spend the night in the head of household room with Derek X. I guess she knew correctly. I can't believe that they don't have a clue that there's another double eviction tomorrow. They actually do have a clue. So what it looks like they're doing is they are setting up the double eviction to most likely have happened today, because they were doing early construction. So the backyard was already closed. So I wouldn't be surprised if the double eviction has been executed today, and then it will be aired tomorrow, because Sunday episode is actually going to be on Friday night. And so in order for them to get all the fallout and stuff like that, and so they can have footage for the Friday episode with the nominations, etc., they have to film it before Thursday. So
the lives are going to be down, you think, from tonight?
The feeds are down already. Yeah, they're down. They probably won't come back up until after the episode airs tomorrow. Right. After the episode airs tomorrow. So yeah, I'm wondering. Okay, so maybe you can help me think this through, because there's still 2 weeks left, right? So there's tomorrow's episode, which two people will leave, and they'll be down to the final 4, right? And then they'll nominate 2 people. And then, like, they still have 2 full weeks. Like, are just going to have a full week, 10 days of like the final, or a full week of the final 3? I don't know. It just seems a little bit long. So I'm wondering if they will do like they did in Canada and do a fake double eviction. So they have another opportunity to like do something fancy.
Maybe. I mean, you have to, if the timeline doesn't add up, then perhaps.
I just can't. It's so boring. Like 4 people for a whole week, and then 3 people for a whole week. Like, it just seems long.
Yeah, they have that one episode where they reflect on things.
That's what I'm thinking is going to be Friday's episode as well. But when they have the final four and do like, I don't know if they do the awards in the States, or is that only in Canada? I can't remember anymore.
I feel like they just reflect in the US version and Canada version. They do the awards. Yeah. And I just fast forward through the whole thing.
Don't we all? I mean, there were back in the day, they used to have the Sheryl Crow concert, you know? Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah. In the backyard. Yeah.
Yes. I like Sheryl Crow, but I never really like having. Oh, who's Ziggy Marley was another person that they had a concert for. Hi, Riley. Sorry I'm late. So much content on Wednesday. Thanks for all these recaps. Oh, I know, Riley. This is already my second podcast for the day. And I still have my third for the day, and I have one more after. So I hear ya. There is lots of content going on. So thank you for stopping by to hang out with us. We know that there's a lot of people that you could be chatting with. Was hoping for a female top 3. I don't recall that ever happening before. I don't either. Do you, Jonathan?
Okay, so when were their final 2s that were females? So
It'd be
Alice,
June and Allison.
and June, yeah.
I don't remember who the other person was.
I think no, and then I think it was male.
Portia and
I mean, I just don't think there has been a final 3 that have been all female. I mean, I think that would stand out. Yeah,
it wouldn't be possible. I mean, it's very unlikely, especially in New Big Brother, where it's super athletic at the end, and so it's a lot very easy for the men to get to the end. I would say, at least one man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think so, Riley. I don't think that has ever happened before. So back to the episode, we see Big D, of course, doing his happy dance with Tiffany on the block. Like, we get it. You don't like Tiffany. She only really has done one thing to you, and that's pretty much it. But I think that's like him as well doesn't really like a woman that's willing to speak her mind at all. And yeah, I agree with you. I do think that she should have held her tongue and not like reacted in certain ways and really pick and choose her battles. But like Big D, like let it go.
She gave you Beyonce, Big D.
She gave you Beyonce, Lemonade. Like
no, he loves it. He's like, oh, I've been salivating over this. I mean, and I guess it works well for his game in the sense of like they know that's where he's going, so they're like, okay, that's what we want to. It really ensures that he's more protected, but at the end, and then like I just him and Azza are really like floaters to me, and the fact that you have 2 floaters in the final 5, which it will be, I don't remember that before either.
It's bad. That's bad. I mean, I've always been a person in these kind of games. It's like, get out the floaters as soon as possible because they're taking up a spot that I want to be in. Like they would have been gone a long time, but they're part of the cookout. And I think that they would have been gone if they were not part of the cookout.
I agree. Yeah. But 2 out of 5, it's just like, wow. And if one of them wins HOH, they're protecting the other one, I think. So I think that
Big D is willing to lose Azza. Azza's fine with going out 4th, apparently. And Big D told her that he was going to be taking her out at 4th, and he's going to the end with the guys. So he's let her know that he has to have a deal with the guys, like that. And so.
Right.
So he's not even taking her to the end. The only person he could maybe beat, he's going to the end with the guys.
That's crazy. He's like not in this world. I don't know what reality. I don't know like where here's a key to winning any game like this is that a sense of awareness, like self-awareness and the situation around you. And it's just, if that's what he's saying, I mean, yes, from what I see anyway on TV, he's kind of out to lunch, but if that's what he's saying, like, especially that much more, it's just, no.
Well, and when Tiffany was campaigning to him, he was like, yeah, well, like if I could sit next to Xavier, like that would be fine. I would probably get the votes to win. And she's like, you would get 0 votes to win, Big D. You would not win. And he's like, that's not true. That's not true. Like he thinks that he could beat Xavier, and he thinks that he has done the most to get the cookout to where they are.
Yeah.
Actually, all the guys don't give Tiffany any credit for. They all say that Tiffany and Hannah haven't done, and none of the women have done anything to get the cookout to where they are. They've just been like carried on the backs of these men. Yeah, it's such
A lot of egos.
cringe.
A lot of egos in that house.
Oh, you think? Floaters did not need a life vest this season. Nope,
No,
not at all.
they were carried on that boat, and
they're fine. They didn't even have to work. Like, this is the thing, is that it's really hard for them to, not hard, but they can't see what Tiffany and Hannah have done for them, because they were doing it for them. And so it just seemed like, oh, they didn't see that Tiffany completely kept Xavier off the block 1 week. They didn't see that because Xavier just stayed off the block. And Tiffany wasn't like, oh my God, so-and-so was trying to put you on the block, but I saved you. Like, she didn't announce all the times where she saved them from being in harm's way. So it's just very frustrating that these men think that the women haven't done anything to get them there, and they don't deserve to be in the final 3 because they just have done nothing. It's like, shut up.
yeah.
Lloyd,
you have to assume if you're in a game like that, there's a lot going on that you will never know fully about. You can't be everywhere at once, and there's a lot happening, that's not going to be spoken to you. So to claim or assume that you're in the know of absolutely everything is just arrogance.
So Anna says that X's rationale is crazy, but in spite of himself playing a good game. I mean, he's playing a good game now because he's in the best position. But I don't think that if there was no cookout, he would be in the same position that he's in. I think that he was people's target long ago. Before jury even, people wanted to get him out, and Tiffany did push things like, no, go this way, go that way. She painted the target on all the people before jury, like, to go out of the house. And so Xavier wouldn't even have made it to this final 6 with people that he gets along with. Unfortunately, all the people that Tiffany really get along with, were not part of the cookout, and she had to take them out. And so, like, Tiffany's ideal final 4 would have been her, Chada, Derek X, and Claire. Yeah, that might have been challenging for her to win, for the most part, but like, she would have at least known that they were there to protect her, or they liked her, or they wanted her to be there. Not these guys that don't give her any respect whatsoever and don't even want her to get 5th place where she can get a little bit of money for her and her son. You know,
having seen this season now, I do think if the cookout did not exist, that Tiffany, with everything that she's done and whatnot, would have absolutely made the final 4 and been in a really good position to make to the final 2 at the very least.
Absolutely.
But I do think, who knows, but I mean, I do think that to be true with how she's played and how she's been able to convince people of a lot of things. So
100%. And so it's like, it's this double-edged sword here, because, like, she wants to do this thing for the game and the world of the game and the US and all that stuff. Like, it was pretty powerful seeing the cookout actually come together and make that final 6.
Yeah.
But it was to the detriment of her game, which is what is so hurtful, because she gave up her game for the cookout, and they're not even giving her an ounce of respect for that. And just being like, you're just so selfish. And it's like, she just didn't want to put out her friend at that time. You know what I mean? Like, where's a little bit of the humanity behind, like, she had a really close relationship with somebody that wasn't in the cookout.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to
see
her go yet.
Is she on your draft?
Claire is on my draft. Tiffany's on JoJo's draft. So wait, JoJo still has Azah and Big D. I can't. JoJo has Azah and Big D still. Is JoJo going to win this draft? I still have Kyland. And wait, you don't have anybody. Wait, no, you have Hannah. Oh, yeah, you have Hannah, and Phil has Xavier.
Okay.
So I think it's either me or Phil are going to win. I really want Hannah to win. So you? I don't think that JoJo's going to win, to be fair, unless Azza decides to shake up and like take Derek X to the end, or Derek X take Azza to the end, that they might have a chance.
I just want her to do something. Like it's like almost, and then like we saw in the one veto in Otev, and I was like, almost no, don't give it away. I'm like, just do something. Just kind of
And
kick
she
it into
wasn't ever
gear.
going to use it. Like I know they made it seem like she was, but she wasn't going to use the veto. If she's
Really?
like she made a deal with Kyland, and so she made a deal with Kyland that he wouldn't put her up on the block, and that means that she's not going to put him up on the block, and she wouldn't use the veto if she were doing it. So it's like, God,
I'd go back on my word so quick.
they're terrible. Like they're just so bad at the game and so annoying. Okay, so any chance the current jury picks the winner alone? The current jury picks the winner alone. I think so. With it's predominantly women that are in the jury right now. So if there's a woman sitting there, I can see them choosing for Hannah to win, especially if they're going to have some influence from Tiffany.
If Hannah gets to the final two, she's won. I think.
It's just a very hard path for her.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah. So
like very hard path. Like Azza, just win that damn veto and take off Hannah or like somebody and shake up this game. You can't. And she said she doesn't really care about having 3 women be final 3 anymore. I'm just like, Azza, really? I don't care about women having final 3 anymore. I'm fine with going out 4th. Like, okay, like you're ruining everything. I can't even have faith in the chance of something happening, because like her position on how to play the game is just not my favorite at all. So Anna says Tiff should have spent more time taking care of Derek F or completely cutting him when it was clear he was a lost cause. Same with X. I mean, I think it's easy for us to say that, but I think in that house when you're supposed to be with the cookout, like I think that she just like was frustrated with like her family, you know, it's kind of like you can't choose your family. And the cookout were her family, and these are people that she was going to protect no matter what. And I think that she didn't realize that they didn't still have respect for her. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they get into fights, but like she's still there for them. She's still going to protect them. She still doesn't want them to get them out. And that's not the same way that Derek F plays, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I just don't think that Tiffany would have. I just don't think her and Derek F, like, I think they clash. So I don't think she's had that opportunity to get to like either take him under her wings and like really befriend him and win him over, and I obviously they're not going to get rid of anyone. And I mean, just how it comes down to, it's like, who are the strongest people to win challenges left in the house? I mean, it's Kyland's the real danger in that situation, is more so than anyone else. And of course he won the pivotal HOH. Now if he didn't win the HOH at 6, who knows how it would have gone, you know what I mean? But it's because if you think about it and you're sitting in the house, you're like, well, gosh, the 2 jokers that are left can be beat pretty much over anything. Although Derek just came in second for that veto, but they can be beat. And then you just look at, like, if I was Tiffany, I'd be like, okay, well, I have X, Kyland, and Hannah, who are, so it's like 2 against 2 almost of who might win stuff. But it really isn't. It's because I think Kyland has won 3 HOHs now, and vetoes, and so it's like he's pretty dominant with his wins. I would have been really scared of him. And but what are you gonna do? You just needed to win that HOH, which was, what was it? Questions?
No, that was the chicken one. That Derek did come in second.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So that one as well, though. So Derek came in second. So he would have put up Tiffany and Hannah as well.
So Tiffany, I don't even think knocked one down, did she? I thought it was all.
I didn't see anybody other than those 2 knock anything down.
She didn't knock anything down, like, and then she just timed it, which we haven't talked about it yet, but she timed out this veto. I mean, you have to win things, especially when it comes down to 6. If you're coming in dead last when Azza and Derek are playing with you, that's kind of on you too then,
I'm wondering because, like, I'd be thinking like maybe she's not wearing her contacts or something because, like, it is seem quite far away. I'm wondering if that has anything to do with not being able to spot some of these differences. Because I was thinking that when I was watching, I'm like, man, like I would have to make sure that I'm wearing contacts or something to be able to see some of those details from so far away.
How would you play that veto? Like for me, I would memorize the order, and you can memorize easy. This is why telephone numbers are 7 digits. You can easily memorize 7 people right in the get. It's something you should know that you need to do in the beginning of the game. I would absolutely memorize the top, the bottom, the order, then go look at them and find out what the difference is. I would think I'm good at that. I've been playing that game since I was a little kid. And then go back and just see which version of that is. And we've seen people do that before quite successfully. This
Um,
seems a little all over the place how people were playing
yeah,
that.
I would be similar to you. So I'd probably take my first stab at the first few in the orders. So I'd be like, say the names of the people, like cha da 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 da, and like get the order of the top row. And then while I was putting up the order of the top row, I would probably try to see what the differences were to begin with. I would hit the buzzer just in case, like my first go around, anyways, while I'm running to go look again. But that's what I would try to do as quickly as I can. I wouldn't stare at them all and try to figure them all out, but like maybe the first few being like, okay, so it's the cape. Okay, this one is the tail. As I'm putting them up, I'd be like, okay, that's the ears, and you know what I mean. So at least while I'm putting them up, I'm noticing what the differences could be if I could see them, and then I'd go back and then verify those. What it is. So I'd be like ears, cape, blah, blah, blah. And then just saying what the order of the changed item.
I feel
That's
like if
probably
you
how I
don't
do it.
do it like in order, though, people like skip ahead. They get confused with what they've changed or what they know or what they don't know. Like Xavier got like really all over the place, and I was like, okay. But Tiffany, I didn't realize did as bad as she did.
Well, seems like that was that one that she couldn't see or figure out.
This is such a great question because I think there still would have been.
Yeah, I think Tiffany would have won this game. So B Bean's asking, without the cookout, would there be a black winner this season? And I think that Tiffany would have won this game if she were allowed to just play the game without having any other cause to have on her shoulders. I think she really would have, because
I,
she was so set up before the
I'm
final
not
six.
claiming to know who it is, but I definitely think like the strongest, the smartest, the more strategic people happen to also be black. So I do think there would have been a black winner.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree. I definitely agree. I mean, the current jury already has 5 waters. Wait, does that say waters?
Voters.
Voters. Oh my god, sorry, I'm not wearing glasses. See, I would have I need to be wearing contacts watching playing the BB comments. Voters to 5 non-cookout members. So 5 non-cookout members could pick the winner without a cookout member's vote. It's very true. I mean, definitely, I think Tiffany going to the jury will, whoever she decides wants to be the winner, I think that she will have the sway with the people that are currently in the jury. Maybe not of like Sarah Beth, like maybe she'll be Kylan all the way, but everybody else, I think, will whatever Tiffany feels is the best, especially when she tells them all the stuff that Kylan, like, I don't know, like making the final 3. It would be one thing if what Kylan was doing was the best for his game, but it's not. And so I don't think that she can respect that. I don't. Has Hannah ever fed back to Tiff how much Derek F talks about her? No, I don't think so. Why was Tiff so in the dark about the extent of the hate? I mean, do you really want to tell somebody that someone hates you? I don't know. Maybe just to like conserve her feelings.
I would. I'd be like, this person doesn't like you. This is what they've said. I mean, I guess unless it's like serves a purpose, you wouldn't, because then if that goes back to them, then they're like, who told you it was this person? And then like, why cause problems over nothing? But if you're trying to win someone over and it's a game move and you have to like plant those seeds and it's factual, then yes. But I mean, if there's not a reason for it, don't start stirring the pot for no reason.
I mean, I probably would tell because I'd be wanting to use it as an opportunity to get Derek F out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would be using that information with if Tiffany was my number one, like my confidant. I would most likely let her know. I'm like, you can't blow up though. Like, I'm telling you this so you just know that he is coming for you, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it would be kind of pick and choosy though. Like if I was scared that they were going to blow it up, I'd probably not do it. But if I thought that they were keep it to themselves and then just be fueled just to get to target them, then that's what I'd do. So I just want to blow through the rest of this episode. Nothing crazy happens. So Big D says that he feels bad for Tiffany and Kyland and Hannah in this situation. I'm like, no, you don't, Big D. Like I know you're pretending that and they aired that, but I don't think that he does at all, personally. Tiffany doesn't have anyone besides Hannah. And they do start talking about the fact that the guys must be working together because it doesn't make any sense why Kyla would completely go against a final 3 deal with 2 people that he can physically beat a little bit better than he could with the other final 3 people. So they must have a deal going on, which is true. Hannah, I thought did a really good job talking to Azza and just like laying it out. Like, yeah, like the guys are probably sticking together, like, and kind of putting in her head that she needs to win this veto and save one of the women so that like they have a shot in this game. But this was all before she's like, no, I'm not gonna use the veto if I win
Can I just say something? And this is obviously a generalization, not for everybody, but I hate how guys just naturally stick together and who they cast on the show, generally speaking. And the women have to like, and there's certain women who really want to make it work, but then there's just some that I feel like, you know, the guys are all like, hey, like bro it together. And I hate it. And then the women who you want to get together are just, there's always 1 or 2 who are just not really all about it. And it just drives me insane.
Well, it drives me insane because that's actually usually what gets like it's bad for my game is that like I'm always 100% like women, people of color, and LGBTQ2S is usually the people that I gravitate towards working with. And so the only ones that usually turn their backs on me is usually the women. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like it's so annoying. It's so annoying. And I'm like, was never coming for you in that way. Like, usually, well, depends on obviously every situation, but I totally agree. Women seem in that play these games to want to be the last woman standing and they don't want to work with the other women because they don't trust the other women. And it never works. It never works. It's so annoying. Like, obviously, Azza, like, in order for you to have a shot to win the game, you need to be at the end. And these men are not taking you to the end, and you don't care. You'd rather them win. It's beyond me. So I was annoyed, though, when Big D started doing the his comic book veto, because he's commenting on Whitney's outfit again. I'm like, who is he to be talking about Whitney's outfit? Like, would you bring this home to your dad or your son or your husband or your son to see this comic book with Whitney? I was like, I didn't like that either.
I just think they fed it to him.
Well, I think still not a good line to be fed
because there's her workout outfit. I mean, like the joke is it wasn't her workout outfit. She was just like trying to like push it off as one, or maybe even if she goes, she like realized she knows it's not like, you know, but yeah, I was just trying to like relive a moment. It felt very produced.
Well, it's kind of like I just don't like care about Big D commenting on what Whitney wears and morally whether or not she should be wearing that to the gym and whether your comic book should be allowed with the men and boys. Like, I don't know. I wasn't here for it at all, but it could also be because I'm not here for Big D at all.
It did seem a little weird. It was a little odd, that kind of comment. It just felt like a little like,
yeah,
you know, off the mark.
It's like, why are you commenting on it? Like, it's none of your business, really. So we do this competition. We already talked a lot about it. Spot the differences while you zip line back and forth. I wish that Tiffany had practiced this to a certain extent. Like, we know that she times out, and we were really surprised. So the times were 14:05 was Derek F, and 14:06 was Chada, and Chada thought she did a really good job. So Big D, kudos to him for, you know, holding out the top spot for most of this because he beat out Xavier as well with 20 minutes and 56 seconds. Azza had 20 minutes and 22 seconds, and Tiffany, as we know, timed out. But Kyland, with 11 minutes and 44 seconds, did win the veto. So he has all the power. Good job. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say about Big D. So this is what I don't understand, because it's an athletic competition, which he usually doesn't do well at. It's endurance, really. The repetitive, and then on top of that, because I think we've determined like he's dyslexic. Like some people
he
confirm that or
definitely
whatever.
said
And then-
animus a few times, and I was
And
like,
then so
there's
the fact that you have you're able to switch these things around potentially and get all confused in a situation like this, I would think that his weaknesses, which are being probably one of the least athletic people in the house, on top of having that hindrance of being dyslexic or whatnot, would have really messed him up for this game. So I mean, yeah, great job for him, but also what's wrong with everyone else? Like I forget what the times are normally on these things. I forget like previous seasons how well they do or they don't do, and how it's compared. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what must have happened is he got lucky. You know what I mean? Like he got the order quickly and didn't have to go back and check many times. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, is that like he just lucked out, and then he didn't have to change that many things, and he was able to get the correct order quickly. That's my guess or my thought. They do take a group photo. And yeah, Kylan and Xavier are kind of joking around in the head of household after, like, if they're gonna put him up. And it's like, Kylan, you should put him up, because he's going to beat you. Even if you're winning all these things, he's going to beat you, because Tiffany is going to be pissed and he's going to push that narrative. And Claire said that she's going to vote for Xavier if he's in that final 2 chair, because she thinks that you should get him out. And if I said that, I would still vote for that person, whether or not I thought that the other person deserved it more. I'd probably be like, I think it was too stupid of you to sit beside somebody that you would be risking your chance at winning. So
100%.
I'd be voting out.
I never reward, we talk about these online games that we play. I never reward a bad decision like that. If you make a bad decision and allow someone to come with you in the end, even though I, under every other circumstance, would have voted for you, I will absolutely make sure that I do not, because I do not reward that decision, especially when you tell them, because that's what it is. It's bad gameplay. And you have the luxury of someone telling you, like, look, if you do this, I'm going to do this, and you still do it anyway or whatever. So you need to weigh out your options. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so right there, that'd be, in my opinion, Tiffany, Claire, and Alyssa that would not be voting for you, like, just from that, knowing that, taking him to the end. They just need 2 more people. I think that Azza is not going to vote for you. I think Azza will vote for Xavier. She doesn't like you, even though she's made a deal with you. And right now, it seems like Derek F is more team Xavier than he is team Kylan. So, I mean, I don't know why he thinks that he's going to be asked back on the show if he takes Xavier to the end, because he's going to look like the Cody in this situation. Like, get out of your ego, as we've talked about already. So they're considering.
I want them to don't show people how to play the game in Sequester. And I want them to just bring people who have no idea how this game is played for next year. Can we do that? Can we cast that, just so they don't have these like misconceptions of like how
it's supposed to be
played, or how it's supposed to be, or these, and they put themselves in these kind of people's, or the characters that they've assumed, and it's not the case. But,
or like, if they're going to give them seasons to watch, make it be season 2, 3, 4, right, 5, and 6.
Early ones, yes,
like early seasons where like the gameplay was interesting, and like, I mean, I was obviously very fascinated by it, and I feel like the seasons way outweigh the current seasons of the show. So that's what I would do if they're going to show them seasons. Show them the old damn seasons, so that like they can't think that this is the way that the game goes. 100%, though, I agree with you, or nothing at all. Like, they do say you have to have seen a season before you go on the show. Like, that's one of the prerequisites. So they should have seen a season before they go on the show. And if they haven't seen a season, then, and they lie about it, that's too bad for them. I don't think they should be providing them with season 16 so that they can do the Cody Derek strategy. It's like, get out of here.
Yeah, like why would you though? Why would you show them a relevant, kind of more, relevant season that so they can just copy it when that's what we don't want to see. We don't want to see the same moves again. So I don't know. I don't know why they do that. They
Because
don't know how
these,
to play the learn.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that the people that produce the show aren't fans of the show, so they don't get it. I think that that's the only thing that makes sense. They don't get it.
I
So
mean, a lot of producers in general, I shouldn't be saying this on camera, but I'm sorry, a lot of producers in general, not all of them, but a lot of them aren't creatives. The creatives are found in other departments. And it shows. It shows in scripted television, it shows in reality television. And that's the truth. I work in this industry, so that's the truth. So
Hundo percento. So Kylan and Xavier are joking about being put up, and they consider putting up Hannah. And I wish that they did put up Hannah because they wanted to put up Hannah to test Azza. They want to test her to see her loyalty. So if she would vote out Big D or not. And I just was like, I hope you do that. And I hope that she calls your bluff and she votes out Big fucking D. Like, I really hope that that happened. It didn't in the end because obviously Xavier just said like, hey, we shouldn't take that risk. But like, I really wanted them to be all in their ego and do a really stupid move. That would be
me
very
too.
exciting.
Me
Even
too.
if it didn't go through, just like seeing them do something so stupid would be satisfying. So yeah, Kylan and Tiff talks and she's trying to be like, tell him that she's been humbled and that she's apologizing again and that she'd be all 100% here for him. And unfortunately, this would be a decent play for somebody that was normal, but he actually doesn't respect any of this. He only respects somebody like Xavier who has one that's a competitive, and that's who he wants to go to the end with. He does not want to go to the end with Tiffany, and everything that she's saying is really putting him off from wanting her to be in this house. And so I felt bad for her because I just knew that she was speaking to a wall. And that's pretty much it for the episode. Pretty much he just puts up, or he doesn't use the power of veto. Well, you knew that was happening, right?
Yeah, and I know there's people out there who don't like Tiffany, and and I'm kind of one of them. But also, so there is a part, and I will acknowledge for the viewers who don't, that there is like I'm like, yes, the six needed to happen, but I'm like, oh, Tiffany, I'm like, I wish you found a different way because like what happened to Claire last week like was just heartbreaking, and then of course your sacrifice isn't rewarded immediately. Like, you know what I mean? It just seems like there could have been some other way somehow that things happened. I don't know, but if that happened, then the six wouldn't have happened. So
Well,
it's
I'm
just
hoping that I know that Derek X is a big favorite. I'm hoping though that the sacrifice that Tiffany made will allow her to win at least the America's favorite player. I'm hoping. I'm not sure if she can, but I'm hoping that that's the case because it would be nice for those three guys that are sitting at the end to see that even though they want to keep her out of getting any money, because now the final five get additional prize money. And so they pushed her out of getting at least some additional prize money. And she's a single mom, and it's
oh, do
like
they? I have no idea how much they make weekly.
I can't remember, like I don't remember exactly how much, but I know now Final Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1 all get additional funds. So like whether it's like 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 more
Yeah.
on top of their stipend. So I would love for her to get what I don't know how much they give now for the America's favorite player, but it would be nice for her to receive that, to know that besides them thinking that she was selfish and blah 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 blah.
I have a question. So 750 is the winner. Has the second place amount changed? Do we know?
They said inside the house that it's 75,000, and so I'm assuming that they've got confirmation for that from the diary room.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, that's everything that we have for you today. I do need to pop up because you know what I got to do? I got to do the challenge very soon. So, Jonathan, what do you have going on to share with the people before we say sayonara?
Well, Moonshine was premiered last night. If you watched it,
Congratulations.
9
I will watch it
p.m.
after.
9 p.m. on Tuesdays on CBC.
Sweet. I will catch up and then I'll watch tomorrow next week. I saw it, the clip at like the ad after, and I was like, oh my god, I should have watched that. So I will catch
Also,
up.
Why the Last Man, I think first 3 episodes came out this past week, so check that out too.
Amazing. Well, thanks everybody for being here. As I said before, I know you guys have a lot of things that you could watch and hang out with after these episodes. So thank you for being here. Please do us a favor and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And tell us in the comments, if you're watching this after the live stream, who do you want to win America's favorite player? I would like to see if Tiffany even has a shot here, or if it's going to be Derek X for sure, or Claire, or even Hannah, or some of the top people that I think that could be pulling out this this prize money. So other than that, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow, where we'll learn Tiffany's fate and who's following her out the door. Bye. Thanks, Jonathan.
Bye.